Everything comes from simple beginnings, small mistakes in the beginning, not so small mistakes in the beginning, actually, when I think about it. But because of my childhood, believing that my vision did not come from God, couldn't have come from God, came from myself as a refutation of God. So God was calling me to be, uh, go ye into all the world and preach the gospel, right? I thought that was so boring. It's just endless boredom. I wanted something, my vision was different. I wanted something unique. I wanted something unique. I wanted something artistic. Nobody told me what an artistic temperament was. I didn't even know what that was. I didn't even know that existed. As far as I was concerned, the bullshit I was being spoon fed at the church was you're either a preacher you're either a preacher or a missionary, or you were supporting preachers or missionaries. That just didn't make sense to me. I couldn't relate at all. But lacking any validation, I was just stumbling forward in the dark. I love Jesus. I, I there was like this false conflict that was sown in me at a very early age. I didn't think that sex came from God. I didn't think that love came from God. I somehow internalized through my upbringing that those things were opposed to God, and one had to dispose of them to serve God. That was the test. And I couldn't make that deal. So what I ended up doing is compromising my integrity without knowing it, compromising my integrity at a real fundamental level. I wanted I wanted my faith, but I wanted my vision more. And so the war began. It was a false war too. That's the kick. That's the real kicker. It was a war that was created in my head by being deceived into believing that the things that God had given me were somehow from me and not from Him. And that created lack of respect, lack of self respect, and a lack of integrity. So I was compromised. And my God, what a fucking mess I've made of it because of that. I ended up being the one I ended up being the one who undermined the vision as well as undermined my faith. I undermined both. I was attracted to awful women who validated the worst validated the worst of my faith, challenged my faith, undermined my faith, and undermined the vision, so that the vision became an expression of brokenness, compromise, heartache. So I gave up preaching the gospel and ended up, what did I preach? Heartache, sorrow, unrequited love. Unrequited love is what I ended up broadcasting to the world. And then, but ironically, having come to realize finally through decades of struggle, decades of doing this alternating current, disrespecting myself, compromising my integrity, God was able to reach down through all of that, through patience, long suffering, with me slandering him to his face, accusing him of things he wasn't guilty of. He was able to finally reach me through a lot of suffering, the loss of my vision, repeated loss of my vision. He was able to reach me and convince me that the vision was from him and that I'd been deceived, and that having been deceived, I lost both the vision. I compromised. I didn't lose it. I compromised both the vision and my relationship with God. And now, ironically, having realized this compromise, this lack of self-respect, I'm able to let the vision go, give it to him. It was his gift, and now I can be grateful for it and release it. Give up the poetry, give up the art, give it all up, give myself up. And the alternating current now, it's there, but it's like alternating current, like in electricity now. The two of them working together in tandem to produce one goal, which is the unique expression of Christ consciousness in the world, as expressed through the metaphor of high romance and true artistic integrity. And I end up now, ironically, preaching the gospel, giving up the vision back to him. Perhaps I've outgrown it. Perhaps it's run its course, just like everything else has run its course in my life. And now I have dignity, self-respect. I can feel it in me. I'm proud of what God has made, what God has wrought. Yes, he shaped me to be a love poet. He shaped me to express myself as I express myself. And he's taking the heart, he's giving it a happy ending. Maybe not the happy ending that I was hoping for, like abiding love, but he's giving it a happy ending beyond happy endings, in that now the very vehicle that I developed in compromise is now being transformed and used as to express the very thing, my faith journey, the very thing that I resisted, because all I could see in the church was these cardboard cutout expressions of faith, which nauseated me and still does. But I mean, that's, but I can see that he set me apart. There's a few individuals per generation that God sets apart, marks, and makes them different, sets them apart, so that he can express the faith uniquely and in a new, fresh way, to speak into society, into people's lives, so that the gospel can be heard anew, as if it's been spoken the first time, not by rote, not by tradition, not by formulas, but through their life. And I can see that's ironically, I've become the mouthpiece of the gospel. It's hard to put into words. I've become the thing. I, I'm suddenly two things at the same time. The vision is intact. It's filled with gratitude now. My integrity is intact because the two aspects of that alternating current are now working together, not against each other. And my faith and the metaphor, the love, the romance metaphor are now joined as one thing, expressing one message to the Western world. Christ is all in all. Christ is the cornerstone of the West. Without that cornerstone, the West does not exist. And from that, downstream from that, high romance, literature, art, Renaissance flows.